We're right here in front of the milk house. As Maria Christina pointed out, we're in the house. And we are in the house. And we're really, really glad to be with you today. We've got some interesting questions that's come in, and that's what this is all about, is those questions. So, Sananda here, so glad to be with you. And wow, you don't understand maybe the opportunity that you give us in the unseen to really blow socks off, because you're in such a different place and humanity's in such a different place. So some people, think it's really dire and really scary. It is for some, but we in the unseen world are going like, oh, maybe now's the time. Maybe now's the time. So I'm going to just begin with the first question that, if not the first, pretty close to one of the first ones that came in. And that was this. Seeing the value that what we have shared through Sharon has brought into your life, how do I support her? How do I help her more? Something along that line, and a valuable, respectful question. But we want to talk to you about that, okay? It was eons ago, that we met with amazing beings, you being part of the group, with another dire situation, another place of we could go over the edge energetically. Our life force was being so sucked away. And there were magnificent beings that stepped forward and said, I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to go with this next mission. We're going to stop this. So, of course, I'm speaking of that seventh world where we had energetically been sucked so dry of our energy. They would call it devolution. Some do call it devolution, falling in grace or falling from grace or being stuck in duality. But we were so being sucked dry from those outsiders' agendas who didn't care, because they would just find another host. So we might be dry husks, but they didn't care. But of course, we cared. These are our families. These are us. So the Earth mission proposed. What was that? What was that all about? Well, of course, it was about getting rid of the outsiders. If we had no way to get rid of the outsiders, we were a lost cause. And the problem was that they owned us. We had at that level of love, wholeness, divinity, which is who we are, we had, through deception, opened our door, because they said, we know more, we've got better, let us show you, let us come into your families and show you better ways. And of course, we had no conception of those who would dominate and take away our energy, and we opened the door. And they came in. And from that point on, we were drained. We were handcuffed, we were beaten, we were, we devolved energetically. And here we are in this mission now. And so a big part of that power that you use through what came in through Sharon is knowing that happened, but more importantly, the restoration of the authority voice and the awareness to use that authority voice to us beyond, because we're the ones who can make energetic changes at your request. And you all understand that. So how do you support? It's not supporting Sharon. That's what we want to point out to you. It's not supporting Sharon. It's supporting the mission we all committed to. So how can you do that? Each of you in absolute divine fashion have a role to play. What is the outcome you want to hold for your time on the planet? What plan do you want to be involved with? And that's our plan. I mean, that's the plan we've been a part of from the beginning, as every soul on the planet has. Now, we haven't been able to be fully involved for a very long time because of the disruptions, the disconnects, the co-opting of energy fields within the bodysuit, within the psyche. And so for so long, what we've been able to do is to help humanity survive. And so we have this mission, we have this commitment, that's who we are, to eliminating the outsiders, same as you. But for so many generations, lifetime upon lifetime, because of the crippling that had occurred in the bodysuit on the earth, within the psyche, through damage, targeting, etc., of female and of males, when those who allowed our voices to come through them, all we could say is, remember you are love. Remember you are love. Fill yourself with love. We had to, because they had no authority. If we told them to stand up and say to outsider type energies, when they were crippled, you can't be here, they would and had been destroyed. So for a long time, if those in who we could speak through were asked, how can we participate in life, we had to say, share love. Because we were in survival mode. And we still, in most places, are only able to say, remember you are whole. Remember all there is love. That's all we can say, because it's still there, still survival mode. It kept their hope alive. It kept their faith in each other alive. And so what we're so excited about in speaking to you is that we can say through Sharon to you, hey, there's outsiders there. There's outsiders there. You're the ones who can speak the declaration and say, I see you, I name you. And then we can move them back to their home of origin. And that's new for humanity. It's new for us, but it was part of the original plan. So how do you participate? That's what you're participating in, or at least you're invited to participate in. And I think most of you are, but I'm not going to assume that you're participating in this awareness that by your word, you can identify any energy that someone says, oh, that's a bad energy, or they're going to hurt you, or anything like that you know of, hear of, or sense of. You know exactly what to do. Go within, connect inwardly. We hear you at every moment in time to be able to say, remove them. Deep 6, remove them. It takes that message level, hey, there's something wrong in the planet, that takes that message giver level to a whole different blast, if you will, a blast. Because up until now, for most of the time on the planet, once the bodysuit was crippled, once the female psyche was crushed, if anybody said, hey, there's a problem here, it had to be, there's a problem here. We know it. Let's be small. That's how we've had to work. Not because there wasn't more that could be done, but we have to meet a consciousness. We have to meet that person in the bodysuit at the level they are. And if they're still in the mentality that they don't have the power, then we can't show them where they do have the power until they ask, what's wrong? What's more? Which is what Sharon did. She didn't say, how can I help my clients feel better about themselves? That's not what she said. She said, I see the cycles of repeating pain, with a little bit of let's take the edge off, let's take the edge off, let's take the edge off, but it's never stopped. And so she asked us, what is the cause? What is the cause of the cycling? Where did it begin? You see? Now, by law, we can say, oh, good, you ask. We'll show you. And we showed her that galactic worlds, those 8 worlds where the problem began. That law of ask and receive is really important for you to understand. You have the authority, you're the master of your boat, if you will. And most people's boats are running from with unconscious rudders. And they don't understand the law, therefore they don't use the law. And then they feel victimized, or they blame, or they wait for somebody else to make the change, or they hope the elected officials will be a magic key. You see, we have seen how the power of our families on this planet in this mission have been ripped away piece by piece by piece by piece by piece from those who would do good. And yet those same laws have been used extensively by those who are committed to control. So you participate every day. Claim again, you're part of this bigger mission. Whatever that outcome you see for the mission, I think just being here says, I want a world that's reflective of our divine agendas. I want a world in which there is peace and respect and unity amongst diversity. And, you've done it. How do you play in it? That's what you're supporting, is that. Which brings me to the next person who wants to speak. A genius on the planet, Tesla. He was a great example of being open to what would be benefiting humanity and getting that information and bringing it into form. My commitment was to make humanity beneficial to everybody. And I knew that what I was receiving would do it because I saw it doing it. I saw the visions of it. I didn't make these up. I didn't take equations and say, well, they work. I saw what worked and made equations. I saw what worked and made designs. I brought it into form because my commitment was, how can we benefit humanity? And the way I did it, mainly through energy, electricity. And during that time I lived in a bodysuit, I got to experience the great power arrayed to prevent the benefit to all from happening. And so for me, seeing what is being done here in this group, and that's why I would partner with you. That's why I partner with you as part of that team. I can help bring in ideas. I can help send ideas. I can bring together geniuses, and will and have, because you have the awareness of not only keeping us safe, keeping yourself safe. That's not all that you do. You go like, okay, coming at me, come on, let him come, because I will stand in what Sharon calls the Sophia Center sword to say, gone, 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 gone. And I didn't have that. I didn't have that when I was in a physical bodysuit, and I was crushed. And many of my visions, inventions, if you will, were crushed or hidden, or not many, but some may be brought forth, but not as I had intended them to be. So I just want to affirm that you are different. You are different. And I think you do not understand the great power that has been and will be arrayed against bringing benefit. Those of the what Sharon terms outsiders, they understand the law. They understand the law. So those who are swaying the thoughts of the creators in an organization, those who set the tone in the organization, at the top, if you have a leader who is of the mentality and of the agenda of control and competition and more money, more money, more money, greed, which is certainly out there, the work that is done in the organization, all the effort, all the working, all the talking, feeds the fire of greed, feeds the fire of control. You see? So when someone says, how many times should I do a reality shift? Well, if you want to be in competition, or at least up like those who are using the same law to destroy, you might be doing it for 3 or 4 hours a day. You see, I mean, you understand, you have the same law. You have the same law. How do you want to use it? You can focus and be with us and strengthen the new creations, which is where we're at, bringing in something never happening before. And so what if it takes you 2 hours a day, 4 days a week? Those in the workforce are working 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And a lot of it is tainted with the energy of outsiders. Just a thought. Which brings me to one of the other questions that came in, and that is, what do you think about the AI, artificial intelligence? What's new on the planet? Are there outsiders involved? Of course they are. Is there alternative, or is there agendas underneath the idea that would use that concept to entrap, destroy, get rid of human bodysuits even? Oh yeah, of course. What is new? They've been doing this since the beginning of the third world. What do we do? We want total use of the energy. And if we can get rid of physical bodies, physical consciousnesses, and just use the energy, of course they would do it. That's a given. That's why we're on the planet, is to see the forms they make. Isn't that interesting when I look at the artificial intelligence and what support it has, and how it's risen to the top, and how it's got this huge force behind it, right? And then I look back in my lifetime where I could have harnessed the power in the air. The power in the air. To provide all electrical needs for everybody for free. That idea was crushed. You see what I'm saying? So it's not, does these ideas, are they of outsiders? Of course they all are co-opted. It might have a kernel of lovely, wonderful. Is it co-opted by outsiders? Always, 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 as long as they are on the planet. Yes. What do you do about it is the question. And for most people, all they can do is run from it, scream about it, be sad about it, feel powerless about it. That's all they can do. And hopefully stay enough focused in love, I'm love, to survive. But you guys know more. That's why it's so exciting to be part of what you're doing and part of you. You know what to do. Put that whole concept in that bubble you call guardian circle. And what we are also been asked, we ask you to do is bring in that laser steward energy of outsider residue. Put them in that bubble, that whole concept. Is there some good stuff in that concept? Oh yeah. But what we want to blast away and move away is outsider energy and residue. So you blast away at those things. And what if you do it 30 minutes a day in the morning, 30 minutes at night, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 at night? They are working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You don't have to do that, because when you connect with us, we can amplify your voice and move in. So how can you support? Hey, it's the idea. It's the concept. Where do we want to be? And then where do you want to play? Where do you want to play? And then that's what you say to your team. I'm playing in this game and we're up in the ante, and I want it to absolutely, feed me as I do the work. It's not going to deplete me, and I'm going to be so excited. And what do you do with things like artificial intelligence, or taking down Roe Wade, so ownership of female bodysuits? You up the ante of what you know, and you go after the cause, because you have the authority restored to you to go after the cause. And if you want to know more, hey, I want to do it in a different way, I want to do it more powerfully, ask the question, how can I? Show me how to, you see. I'll bet none of you have thought this is a question I'm going to put on the hopper. I bet none of you have asked the question, how was Sharon able to bring in the authority, to restore the authority? Because she, as a member of the curiosity group, the divine family of curiosity, she was owned. Her energy was owned. Her psyche was crippled. Her bodysuit was crippled. How did she get beyond that? I'm going to leave you with that question. Why do you have the authority? How did she have the authority? What is different about it? But all I know to tell you is this is an exciting time. And we're able to share with you in ways we can't share with other groups. We have to share at the level you're at. And if individuals just, all they can do is hold on to their love and they're basically good, perfect, they will keep that live stream alive. But you're here to totally change the game. Totally change the game. And oh my gosh, I wish I had had you when I was on the planet in a bodysuit. We would have changed the world. So now we get the opportunity to do that. And there are many here waiting to work with you. So don't be surprised if a name comes to your mind and you go like, what? Who? Me? There are those who have been holding inventions, geniuses, creative, networking. They've been holding those things in abeyance until a time when they could really be brought into form. You may be the very one to bring them something into form. I'm sure you are. So I am honored. I am honored. And with that, I just was checking to see if Sananda wanted to take over and say goodbye, but he's saying no. I did it okay. I will be the last voice today. So blessings to you all. Gosh, what an exciting thing we're into. And we love you so much. Great hopes, many plans. And make sure that you set the criteria that it brings you joy and it brings you vitality, because it's not about surviving anymore. It's about joyfully being in mission and laughing with each other. So I love you. We love you. And until we meet again, much love.